guys, so I was going to put some makeup on today and I thought why not film it. A couple of people were interested in some tips for how to apply everyday makeup, so I thought I'd just start off with skin. I cleansed my skin this morning, it's now lunchtime, but before I put my makeup on, unless I've washed my face straight away, then I will always cleanse my skin. So you can see my skin's quite oily. That's obviously from the moisturiser that I put on this morning. I'm just going to take some Fix Plus on a cotton pad. This is from MAC. And just freshen this skin up, really. You don't want to go in applying makeup if you've not got freshly cleansed skin. I would always recommend using a cleanser. If you find that your makeup clings to certain areas, you would definitely need to invest in a good exfoliator. I did post some tips for skincare the other day, so if you didn't see that, go and check it out, and it'll just explain really why you need to do each step and the products that I would recommend. Okay, so when I've done that, you can see, even though my face is clean, well, it looks clean, all of that dirt has come up. I've been picking at my skin, but I've got blemishes, and I think I've just decided that I want to keep this page real. I don't want to edit too much, and I just want to show that makeup is fun, and I don't want people to come on my page and feel crap about themselves or whatever from filters, and do you know what I mean? I just want to completely change how everything is and just keep my page fun and a happy place. So with that being said, I'm gonna start off with, obviously, personally, I do like a full coverage, but that is mainly only to cover any scarring that I have. Well, if my skin hasn't flared up, then I do genuinely just don't really wear much makeup at all. But the only reason why I like full coverage is to cover my scarring. I'm going to start off with some Studio Fix fluid. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to spray. I don't always necessarily use a primer as such, although this does prep the skin. It's got something called glycerin in, so basically that just means that it's an adhesive for anything else you put on top. Now, I am quite generous with this. And then I'll let that soak in. This is the rose scent, and it is chef's kiss. I do need to colour match again because I know that this probably isn't the exact right colour, but we're just going to make it work. This is N5 Studio Fix. I'm going to take a couple of pumps. You'll have to excuse the fact I actually haven't washed my brushes, but again, this is real. There's no judgment. We don't wash our brushes after every time we do makeup, do we? Let's be completely honest. I don't actually know the last time I washed these brushes, but I also don't wear makeup every day, so. Okay, a couple of pumps of Studio Fix. This is a stippling brush, so you can really buff it into the skin, or again, over areas that you are more concerned about, press it in. So I've just got a little bit. I never pump it into the brush, because when you pump it into the brush, the product's gonna go deep and you're gonna go through it a lot quicker. So I buff it into the skin. Now you can see this is a medium coverage. I always used to say to people in MAC, this was it's the #1 foundation that they do, and it's because it's so versatile. I can build this up if I want to go full glam, because of the finish of it. It's not completely matte, so it's still gonna look like you've not got a shit ton of makeup on. Does that make sense? Or if you want something, say if it's warm, you're on holiday, you want a bit of coverage, nothing too crazy, get some moisturiser, or if you've got a primer that you love, do a little pea-size amount of your primer with 1 or 2 pumps of this, and you've shaded it out already, and it will literally look so nice. You'll have a bit of colour, bit of coverage, it will last. This is another reason why I love Studio Fix, because it lasts. I'm an oily gal, right? But I don't mind a bit of shine coming through because I think it's natural. So I'm buffing this in. When I'm putting it on, I am literally making sure I've got hardly anything on the brush. Then I'm working it into the skin. So I'm not going in with shit tons of product on my brush and then proper buffing it in. You can see I've still got redness. Obviously that's where I've just picked, but we don't talk about that. So I'm gonna see where there's still redness. And now, instead of buffing it, I'm pressing it into the skin, making sure you get over the ears as well. So I've got literally hardly anything on. I'm only building it up where I want more coverage, which is my cheeks. You don't want to bring the product up under your eyes, because if you're building up a lot of product under there, it's more chance that it's going to crease. Really make sure that you're pressing it into the skin as well. Don't be like 10 seconds and then you're done. You need to really make sure that this is like worked into the skin and it doesn't look like you've just put a shit ton of product on top just to cover things. Now I'm going to go in with MAC Prolongwear Concealer. This is NW20. We've not got a clean brush, but it's fine. It's kind of like, it's a little bit dense, but it's also kind of fluffy. Never want loads of product. And I'm going to concentrate it on where we've got slight discoloration. See how that's kind of purple? And we're pressing it into the skin. We're not bringing it all the way down over the cheek, because I just feel like unless you're doing full glam, like going out glam, you don't need that much concealer. Bringing it over the lid just lightly, because we want to cancel out any discoloration. But once I've buffed it over there, I'm going to just take it in between there, in between my brows, blending it up, making sure everything is perfectly blended. Minimal product, build it up, put a bit on, take a step back, see if you need some more. Because most of the time, I think that's where I always used to get carried away with things. Like, even now I can be so heavy-handed, I'll be like, oh, I'll just do like a little bit of concealer, it's fine, like we're not gonna go heavy. Next thing I know, I've got a fucking smoky eye on. I've started off with the brush placed on where we want the most coverage. If you don't really want to wear as much makeup as this, I would just concentrate on coverage over your cheeks. So you could just wear concealer if you wanted to. Don't have to do the foundation. If you're going to do that, make sure that you're bringing whatever product is left on the brush over your cheeks, around your nose, because we get red there. Inner corner of the eye is probably the main area, is like there. Bring it down. And then if you want, a bit around the mouth. I've not got any additional product on this brush, but I'm blending it down my neck really lightly. I've got hardly any pressure. Taking it over the ears. And then I'm just pressing into the skin. See, you can still see redness. You're still going to see texture. You can't change the texture of your skin by putting makeup on. If you've got pores, you can put things like Professional on, pore filler, that's gonna fill it, that'll be fine. Like, bit of powder, it will sort of smooth it out slightly, but it's not gonna get rid of it. I'm gonna try and keep to, well, I am gonna use mostly cream products, just because I find, especially even though I've got oily skin, because I've got texture, the more powders I use, the more it's gonna emphasize it. This is a Pro Conceal & Correct palette. If this is medium deep. The reason why I have this is because I use it in my makeup kit, so I'll use it on any clients that I have. However, you could literally get Prolongwear Concealer in a darker color. MAC has loads of concealers. Revolution, I know, do really nice concealers. Just a bit of a warmer color. You don't want anything too orange though. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the smallest amount of the darker color, just because I know that if I'm too heavy-handed with it, my face is not going to be the same colour as my body. And I do sometimes do that, and then afterwards I'm like, whoa, we need to just take a step back. I use the end of my brush. I take a tiny bit, then I put it on my hand. With this, with anything that you're putting on your skin, less is more, okay? So see how I've got that on the very corner of my brush? I'm controlling where I'm putting it on the brush, so I can control where it sits on the skin. I've got a tiny bit. I'm then gonna pretty much blend it into my hand, so I've not got any product on there at all. Keeping it on the corner, so I know when I press it into the skin here, I'm controlling that it's gonna be where my cheekbone is. And then I know that as I move the brush, it's gonna be blended. Studio Fix on me it is a satin finish. I don't know if I said earlier. If you've got dry skin, so if your skin just looks a little bit dull, you struggle with flakiness, I would say you should be cautious of what primer you're putting on underneath. So I did bring that a little bit too low, but like compared to this side, but that's fine because afterwards we will go in and we'll just clean it up with my foundation brush with no extra foundation on. Yeah, if you've got drier skin, invest in a primer that is gonna hydrate. After each step, you could even do Fix Plus. I've got oily skin, but I do that anyway, just because I want my foundation, no matter how much makeup I've got on, I always want it to look natural. I want it to look like skin. I don't want it to look like I'm caked in powders and all of this. The reason why it looks a little bit warm right now, see how it's a different color to my neck, is again because of how dark it is. If you are conscious of being heavy-handed, get a lighter color. I have not been blending it like this. I've been pushing it into the skin the whole time because I don't want to disturb the product that I've put on, apart from my forehead, because I don't necessarily want coverage there. We just want a bit of color, a bit of blending. I'm making sure that I've not got loads of product either because I'm blending it into the hairline. And I have made the mistake in the past of having too much product on my... Have I just got it in my hair? Yeah, well done. Yeah, in the past I've made a mistake of having too much product on the brush and then I'll have like a grey rim, especially because I've got dark hair, and if you've got blonde hair, you'll have like an orange rim, and that's not cute for anyone really. I go over the chin, I bring a bit of colour on the chin so we're like flowing, if that makes sense. We've not just got bronzer here and a bit on the forehead. I'm bringing colour on the chin, along here, and then sometimes I will blend it over the tip of the nose. All the colours, everything's flowing. That's what we want. We want it to flow, we want it to be blended. Back in with the foundation brush, there's no additional colour or product on here. I am pressing it into the skin. See how instantly that's just taken away like the orangeness that it once was. If you want a little bit more definition, concealer brush. I think I used 1 or 2 pumps. A lot of concealer does come out with this, so this will go a long way with 1 pump, but it's very creamy, so it will always look natural no matter how much. So how much you apply, sorry. I get too excited, I start speaking and then I start thinking about something else I want to say. So see how I'm doing that, and that does look super harsh, but I go back in with the foundation brush and we blend it in. So we're just bringing that definition back. Then we go back in with the foundation brush and just push it into the skin. So you can see there's a bit of definition, but it's not heavy. I have not put any powders on my skin at all. All the creams done. I'm gonna go in with my Fix Plus. This will set all of the creams down, and it will just help it sink into the skin and make it look like skin, if that makes sense. It's not gonna look like we've got loads of makeup on, which is what we're going for. I'm gonna go in with 2 more products. I don't always apply highlighter, but sometimes it is nice. If I'm going out, I'll apply highlighter, but because I'm keeping it mostly cream, sorry, I don't feel the need to highlight because my skin's naturally going to be glowing. I'm going to go in with a blush. This is Like Me, Love Me from MAC. I think this is discontinued, so I apologise. However, I do love it. So I've got a round brush. I am loading my brush up, but I'm getting the excess off on the back of my hand. Then starting there, blending, working my way back. I'm not going all the way back here, but I am going sort of level with my temple just to make sure that it's blended in with the bronzer. Loading the brush up again, patting it off on my hand. Minimal product on the brush. I start off like with a smaller area And then as I know that I've got some colour off, I am a little bit more lenient with how far back and forth I blend. See how this has been brought up higher than this side? It can be fixed with just blending with the foundation brush. Foundation brush, I'm going to go under the eyes, round and up. So I'm like, if I come closer, going like this, then around, and making sure that we're not too low. You want to keep it relatively high so it emphasizes the cheekbone structure. I've got no additional product and I'm just going to go. I do kind of bring it over my cheekbone, I suppose, but not as high as what you would bring highlighter. Sometimes I take a little bit on my nose. So see how you can literally see the ring light in my forehead because of how shiny we are. Love that for me. This is a loose powder. Basically, we're just taking away the shine. I'm going to take the shine away there. Setting under the eyes is very important, especially if you are conscious of it creasing. That's probably the main area that I will set, other than where I've got blemishes. So the reason why I'm doing this is because you don't want the coverage to move. You want to set really where you want to keep the coverage. If you find that you've put too much powder on, we can fix it with a setting spray. So that's totally fine. But once again, I've got hardly any product on my brush every single time I'm placing it on the skin. And I've done all of my creams first to then go in and do my powders. I'm setting the eyelids because the eyelids get oily. We don't want that to crease. So I've taken all of the shine away. And now I can see, looking at myself, that I would like a little bit more colour over the cheeks because you can see it is there, but it's not there. Smiling, see how I'm bringing it like more onto the apple of the cheek? If you don't like blush, apply a slightly more bronzer. I used to bring my bronzer heavily here, sort of as how you can see my blush, I would do that with bronzer. Then making sure that everything is seamless. I am hardly applying any pressure. I'm essentially just pushing it into the skin. Then I'm going to set everything with Fix Plus. So I would say if you're a matte gal, you can get a mattifying Fix Plus as well, or you can get mattifying setting spray. It doesn't have to be MAC. What this will do now is locking everything in place, but it's going to take that powderiness away, so your skin is, oh, I love that. Look at that slicked back from all of the Fix Plus. What a look. But it's still looking like skin. See? If you don't like the shine on the cheeks, see that? Really lightly. We've got no extra product on the brush, but this was the powder brush. We're molting. So I'm just pressing the powder over. And that, if I come close, we've got coverage. You can still see the blemishes, but I'm not gonna get rid of that, are we? Unless you want to do full coverage. So this is what I would do if I wanted to put some makeup on and I didn't want to put much on. I've got lash glue in my lashes. And I'd probably just put a little bit of Vaseline on and curl my lashes, bit of mascara, and that is all I would do. If you want more coverage, do it the same order that I've done everything, but just apply slightly more product. Build it up slowly like I did first say. Don't go in straight away with a load of product on the brush, because then you can control where you're building the coverage up. If you want a lighter coverage, like I said at the beginning, you can go in with just the concealer and build it up in the center of the face. And then you can go in, if you want, with your powder bronzer, powder blush, but I would always recommend a setting spray. You want to prime the skin. But again, this is set, each layer is set my makeup at the end, and it's also primed my skin. So this is why I struggle to find a primer, because for me, Fix Plus just does it all. The only thing it doesn't change is the texture. But I'm so used to having texture on my skin now that I'm just kind of over it, and I'm just like I am used to it being there, and I know that I'm not going to be able to change it no matter how much makeup I put on. I hope everybody enjoyed. I hope you've learned something. If there's anything that I've not covered but you are like kind of wanting to learn about it, or struggling with your own makeup, with skin, or with anything at all, just pop me a message and I can try and help you out with it. I want to keep this a positive space. I hope everyone enjoyed. I hope everyone's having a lovely day. And if you're not having a good day, don't worry. Just do what you can. Don't be hard on yourself. You know, we are still in a pandemic. Even if you've drank some water, if you've had a shower, be positive and just show yourself some love for just doing even that. Yes, well, that's all I gotta say. Let me know if you enjoyed. If you want to see more of these, let me know. Love you all. Thank you so much for taking your time to watch this video. Bye.